Cheers, everybody. We are back for another edition of Bourbon on a Budget. I'm back after some time off.
Welcome
TJ
back.
Pittenger, Brendan Sinone, and there's no Ben tonight.
No Ben. We're Ben
No Ben.
Cockless.
You certainly are. For those that don't know, before we start getting into anything, tell us about that beautiful tank top you got going on.
So I do another podcast on the bench. Maybe you've heard of it. Knowles 24/7. Oh, well, still in need of a sponsor if anyone's out there listening. And so is this podcast. But so before we did the YouTube videos all the time, which is what we've done this season, I would always wear a tank top while recording. Chris and Josh both hated it. And so I was trying to class it up a little bit, be on the YouTube, look semi-professionals, wear my 24/7 sports shirts. And I realized, since we started doing these live videos and I was, dialing it up and being professional, FSU hadn't won a game yet. So for last week's game against Syracuse, TJ, I said, you know what? I know what the reason I know the issue is. The reason why FSU hasn't won any games because I haven't been wearing a tank top. So as I made my score prediction, I ripped off my sweatshirt. Still here, just disheveled on the bed, just like a crazy night of passionate lovemaking, where you just rip off all your clothes and just still there. That's what it was like. But for your ears, because you heard me make a prediction about FSU winning. I had them winning by 3 points. I was only 3 points away total from hitting the score. And guess what? FSU won. So now I have to wear a tank top pretty much all the time until they lose is the deal with the Knowles 24/7 message board.
So just one more week. All right, very good.
But look at it. It's bourbon themed, this one.
So I wonder if there's a bourbon out there thinking about me too. Oh, okay. Very good. That's a nice shirt. That's some nice chest lettuce you've got going on.
Thank you. Well. I got that going on. Tell Harlan he can eat his heart out. This is the real chest lettuce.
Okay, cool. So what are we going to do tonight? We are going to do a quick review of Mellow Corn. A quick review. Mm-hmm. It's review day. It's review time. We didn't want to break pace on this. We were going to do something a little bit different. The guys reviewed 1910 on Tuesday. So if you haven't caught that episode, go back and check it out.
To make you jealous. Were you jealous?
I wasn't super jealous. I know that was kind of, but it was my suggestion. So, oh, don't tell the people. So I haven't gone back and listened to that just yet. So we were going to do something following up on that. We're going to do our toast off. Ben not feeling well, kind of put a kibosh on that. We'll do that next week, assuming he's feeling better on Tuesday, get back on schedule. So what we had planned for this week anyway, before I had kind of renovation week from heck, was a review of Mellow Corn. It's Halloween. Figure we'll go ahead and
October. It's not yet Halloween. Just
the whole month is Halloween, just like the whole month of December is Christmas.
Or like my wife's, September's my wife's birthday month, pretty much.
Oh, she gets that. Mine's in the summer, so I just take the whole summer.
The whole entire summer. There you go.
Yeah, June. That's my birthday. It's the summer.
Yeah, you missed
the summer of TJ. Shout out Joe.
You missed last week's like 2 days ago. I can't remember the day, so we got off schedule to just mess me up. But Ben was wearing little Halloween tiger ears.
I saw that when I went to edit it. I didn't watch I haven't listened to it yet because I don't want to hear what you guys' score was for 1910 for when I actually do it.
They're going to give it a 10 and jack up the price. We accounted for that in our review.
But I could do that one way or another. So whether I watched it or didn't. So
that's true.
It's a fair point. But I saw that when I was like, oh my goodness. So I watched the first 15 seconds to try and figure out what they were. And to figure out where to cut the video. So anyway, all right, let's jump into this Mellow Corn review.
Let's do it. So you want me to show here? I'm going to show this to the people.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful bottle.
It's a cool old retro bottle, isn't it? It is different. It's unique. Check out the color on this. Is one thing TJ noticed immediately. Super light. So first off, before I get into the Mellow Corn,
that's darker than this.
Somehow Ancient Age by Buffalo Trace was the lighter when I sent all these samples down to you a few months ago and I put them all in order of color. The Ancient Age was lighter than the corn whiskey, which is incredible. So yeah, we're gonna be doing the plan is depending on everyone's health and whether the houses are standing up. And I'm going to be traveling later this month. But the plan is every review we do is going to be somewhat themed around October and spooky season. And we're starting off with Mellow Corn because candy corn, right? Right. So that's the plan. That's the first one. There'll be spookier stuff too as we get along with it. But this whiskey's kind of nasty, so it's gonna be super spooky in my mind. So it's a straight corn.
Very spooky. This whiskey is so spooky. Hey, let me make this announcement real quick. Let me actually share this real quick so that more people see it. We're live. These people will live if they're listening later. Reviewing Mellow Corn with we're competing with the freaking NFL on Thursday night, college football, and freaking Rays and Red Sox game in the playoffs. So, I appreciate both people that are probably tuned in and watching this. But all of that to say, if you're watching this on Twitter, you used to be able to comment and antagonize us and make fun of us or pitch in or have questions or just whatever. You can't do that on Twitter right now. StreamYard used to run through Periscope. Periscope is no more. And so now you have to subscribe on YouTube or go hit our Facebook so that you can comment and interact with us. And I can put your comments up on the screen like you were doing a couple of weeks ago. But if you're on Twitter, watching on the Twitter broadcast, I know that's where it's most convenient. But until they update it or get some different kind of software kind of going on the back end, we can't interact with you. We can't share your comments. We can't see what you're saying. We have no clue. So go subscribe on YouTube. It's youtube.com, search Bourbon on a Budget. Same thing on Facebook. Go to Facebook, search Bourbon on a Budget. It's right there. We'd love to be able to interact with you like we did a couple of weeks ago. Either way, if you're watching on Twitter and that's where it's easier to stay, great. You don't have to interact with us, but we did enjoy that a ton and thought that was a good time. So anyway, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Facebook. That would be great. Okay, review of Mellow Corn. Ready to get into this?
Yep. And if you're watching on Twitter, you're dead to me, is all I'm going to say.
Wow.
Because it's Halloween. Spooky. All right. So Mellow Corn, beautiful, weird, retro bottle. Thanks. It is a straight corn whiskey. And there's a couple of different facets, not faucets.
Facets only. Facets only. Faucets only
that make it a straight corn whiskey as opposed to a bourbon. So basically it has to be at least 80% corn in its mash bill. This is 90% corn and the other 10% is a mix of rye and malted barley. It doesn't have to be aged in new charred barrel like bourbon does. It could be aged in aged barrels, which can help with some of the complexity and saw down some of the flavor a little bit. But so this is from Heaven Hill. It is the MSRP like 5 years ago was $12. It's closer to like 16, 17 now.
Oh, I see like 20 everywhere. I feel like
it's a little
1999.
It's just got this cult classic, man. It's like this cult following to it that people like love it, and it's strange and unique because of the bottle, because it's a corn whiskey, because the price used to be great. Like you said, it's gone up a little bit. I think about 17, 18 is what I spent on this bottle, but that was a couple of years ago at Market Square Liquors in Tallahassee. Can you find this do you walk around at any local shops and see this?
Yes. Okay. Lucan's has had it for a while. I haven't been anywhere else recently, so I have no clue.
All right. So I know some people have a hard time finding it. Like online, the price is jacked up in some places, other places not. It's an interesting, weird kind of niche whiskey. I almost called it a bourbon. It's not a bourbon. It's bottled and bond. It means it's at least 100 proof. And it is been aged for 4 years. It's been almost exactly 4 years. So yeah, that's the Mellow Corn. I always want to call it Mellow Mushroom, which I know is not accurate. That's another restaurant. They can sponsor us. Would you? Oh, what about a Mellow? There's a Mellow Mushroom
pretty close.
Whiskey?
There's a Mellow Mushroom pretty close to me, and I'm starving. I may get that after this pod.
All right, attaboy, go get it.
I'll probably Uber Eats it because I'm responsible and lazy.
Oh, you don't drink it drive, probably.
Yeah. No, 100%. But also, I mean, again, this is less than water. Like, look at it. And look how little I have. But yeah, I'm still too lazy to go get it myself. Okay, Mellow Corn. Again, if you're watching this on Twitter, I see a ton of you are. I mean, a ton is it's loose, but I see dozens of you are.
Oh, that's not bad. Hello, everyone. You're all dead to me.
Or maybe a dozen. Whatever. If you go subscribe on YouTube, or if you go watch on Facebook, you can comment and interact with us. They took that feature away on Twitter. We can't see it right now. Hoping they bring it back. We'd love to be able to interact with you during the show. All right, 2 points for nose, 4 points for taste, 1 point for finish, 1 point for cohesiveness and complexity, and 2 points for value. Keep those in mind. We're going to talk about the whiskey first, and then we will actually rate it in a minute. Brendan, talk to me about the nose. Let's fly through this so we can talk some other bourbon and go.
And pour some other bourbon or whiskey, I guess. That isn't
anything but this.
So it is super ethanol-y and birdy in the nose. It's not very refined, or
you could call it corny.
Just like that joke. Hey, when TJ sends me a dad joke via text message, I get so excited. I can't explain. My kernels start popping. Kernels, damn it. Very sugary, like maybe it's like corn syrup, but it is got just like this super like kids like Dunkaroos or some kind of like Gusher, some kind of like some kind of candy that you would get in your like lunchbox when you were 6 years old. Like that's
like what candy corn.
Yeah, sans the alcohol, but it is very corny. Vanilla-y a little bit as well. A little bit of barrel spice going on there too, like a little bit of cinnamon, but like it's not like most of the things I'm describing, man, are pleasant, but I'm not enjoying the smell.
It's so strong on the corn. It's so strong on the ethanol. It's so burny.
It is burny. No, it is burny. You're right.
Yeah. It's not a pleasant, enjoyable nose. You can pick out all those notes, but it's not like a vanilla, sugar, sweetness. Like you can pick them out, but yeah, not the best.
You know what? I just tasted it, so I guess
everyone heard that.
It reminds me of so I'm starting to kind of isolate a little bit, going back to like childhood again, minus the alcohol, but like that corn sweet. Remember Pops, the cereal Pops? It was right, like it's just super. It was like corn. It was a corn.
I like corn Pops.
It was right. It was corn
much more than this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's very corn heavy, very sugary, and kind of like artificial tasting as well. So
I can get that. I can get down with that.
Are you getting anything other than corn on the palate there, TJ?
The corn is so strong that it's hard to get like a ton of other.
A little vanilla.
On the palate? I'm not even there yet.
Oh, you haven't even. Oh god, wait till the ethanol burn gets into the palate. Yeah, vanilla and corn and a little bit of barrel spice, and that's kind of where it.
Oh boy, yeah, it's like a roasted corn cob.
It's different, right? Like it's sometimes you get like a sweet corn
soaked in
taste.
gasoline.
Yeah. It's like a Msrp cocktail.
I'd say 87. It's not like the strong stuff. So,
oh man, just it is a cool bottle. But I've had this bottle for like 4 years, which I think should be telling of how I feel about it.
So I remember, yeah, man, the corn flavor on this is just so. That's what it finishes as. I'm gonna go right to the finish. It finishes like with a very corn heavy. Sorry for making those weird noises for you guys. Again, now I do see there are quite a few people in here I'm watching. I hate to be annoying, hate to ask you to leave Twitter, which I know we all love so much. If you go to YouTube, you go to Facebook, you can interact with us. They took the feature away on Twitter. If you're listening to this tomorrow morning, you could have heard this live and heard me say this same thing 5 times. I don't love this. Not a good flavor. I'll be honest. I'll be real with the people. It's spooky how bad this is.
It is again a sub $20 bourbon. The MSRP on it. Oh, someone just wrote on Facebook. Mellow Corn equals heavy corn. Got it. Yes. Tad.
I think it's Tad. I don't think it's Tad.
Could be Tad. I don't know.
All right, how
Please
do we say it?
do a
Tade?
phonetic, Tade. Please let us know, Mr. Moses.
We'll send you a bottle of Mellow Corn.
You could have the rest of this.
We usually review better things. This is a guy, buddy of my.
All right, so the finish on it actually is the most pleasant part. I'm not going to make the
because it's done.
No, I'm not going to do that. It actually like the corn. The
Tad. It is Tad. It is Tad.
Okay.
Tade. Who would name their kid Tade? Hey, let's make Tade.
Tade Rodemaker. It's an FSU football joke.
Maybe Tade. What do you think his parents just don't know how to spell? What were you saying? Sorry about the finish before I just went off on a tangent on this guy's name.
On a tangent.
Oh my God.
The finish is actually kind of pleasant because you got that corn and the vanilla and the barrel spice. And it's the first time to me in having from nose to taste. Now the finish, there's finally the part where it has some level of cohesiveness and all the flavors kind of meld together. So it's got like a nice little buttery popcorn type of vibe. It's got a little bit of a kick. It's not a great finish by any means, man. But like to me, at least, it's like the most like I see what's trying to happen here, and I could at least be like, okay, cool. Like, reasonable.
I don't hate that buttery finish as much as I thought I would. I guess. But I also just don't know how I feel about a drink. Remember the Harry Potter gummies that one of them was like buttered popcorn? Remember that?
Like butterbeer? Like
one of the Harry Potter gummies is like no, just any Jelly Bellies. I think is the same thing. They have a buttered popcorn jelly bean.
And that's kind of so you got the artificial sweetness of a jelly
Salt,
bean,
butter. Yeah, it's weird.
Fake butter too. Yeah, you know what? I haven't had that, but that sounds about on point with what you're getting on
so
this.
Jason says his wife actually likes Mellow Corn as a daily drinker. He does have a good palate for bourbon too. I would love to know, like, what other things she like. Okay, I wasn't doing that. But dang, I wish I would have been doing that.
Is he related
Jason,
to
I'd love. No,
No
don't
family?
do it. Don't do
Okay,
it.
all right.
Don't do it.
Okay.
No, he's not. Okay, Jason, I'd love to know what else she likes. Like, what other kind of drinks she's big into. What I mean, it's not that appealing to me mostly because I like. We've talked about this a million times on the show. I like sweeter drinks. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of sweetness in this, so my next one will be much more up my alley. But anyway.
That's all it is sweet, but not in a good. It's sweet, but like in a stickly, prickly, just unrefined and rugged way. Not good. I know we should.
Those are some good words you just used.
Thank you.
You can definitely tell you get paid to write for a living.
And then I just added "not good," which is a good way to review this. This whiskey tastes bad. This whiskey tastes good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's
rate it. Let's rate it.
All right.
It's not.
Right.
It's.
It is what it is.
Is it gonna be pot still?
Oh, I mean, yes. I think. Well, let's see.
Nose. You go first.
Not awful. Not good. Not even average. Below average. It is at least like. There's like a few things here to pick out, so I can't give it an awful score. I don't put my score in for me. It's 0.5 is what I'm putting it out of 2, not 0.75.
Okay, 1.75. Just slightly below average. There were some things in there that were okay, but again, below average. We're going back to Jason's answer here. She loves Woodford Reserve Double Oaks. I almost poured that. The Michter's rye is fantastic. Obviously, the Jack Daniel's single barrel strength. And that rye is one of my, I know you're talking about the bourbon there, but that rye is one of my favorites in the 1920, which we've been on a ton. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I mean, at the end of the day, like some things, like I obviously absolutely love the finished stuff. He talked about the double oak there. Ben hates it. Ben hates Woodford Reserve Double Oaks. And I think it's one of the best pours you can get for just an everyday drinker. Always available. Super easy to find. Different strokes for different folks.
I think, her taste is pretty that's all really good stuff. And she just poured Ezra Book's beer. Wow, Jason, you have a keeper there. One thing, and we'll get into the value.
Wife. Let her comment a little bit.
Yeah, have her jump on
Jason,
here.
what do you drink? We'll give you some love too.
This is again $12 to $20, depending on where you're shopping at. So there's a curve that we're grading on here. as we get to the value, we'll get into the value. But like, you're talking about a daily sipper. Like for me, I'd rather spend an extra $5-10 like on a Buffalo Trace, and Elijah Craig, a Wild Turkey 101, like and would find that much more enjoyable as the daily, like, bottom shelf or mixer or something like that.
There we go. There we
Jennifer's.
go. Yes, love it. Thank you, Jennifer. Shout out to you for having.
Cheers for your exquisite taste.
Cheers.
Well, this will be
I'm
everyone's got a different one. Yeah, this is your different one. That's fine.
Okay, you get 4 points out of taste. Okay, that barrel dovetail is good. Okay, last thing for Jason here, because
Jason's derailing us.
I'm just jealous that he's drinking something better than me right now.
I got some of that coming my way.
Next one's coming. But that barrel dovetail is so great. Okay, you get 4 points for taste. Let's blow through these last few.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with 1.5.
Same here. Probably for the same reasons you are. Yep, 1.5.
I didn't say my reasons. How do you know?
I'm assuming it's the exact same. Go ahead and say it. I'll tell you whether it's the same or not.
It was below average. It wasn't super pleasant to me. I don't know. I'm probably just being generous because it's Halloween.
It's not like, but like I can drink this whole thing.
It's not bad. No, it's not bad. Like Willet, I thought was bad.
This isn't a drain pour. I haven't drain poured it yet. It's not quite in that territory.
Wouldn't drain pour it. But if you were moving, would you actually pack it and move it, or would you just like, this is
I gotta tell you, I tried to give my neighbor a bottle of Old Tub and a Woodford malt, and he wouldn't take either of them. He tried them both, and he just told me to throw them away.
That's amazing. Okay, finish. You said you like the finish. Your favorite part of this?
Yeah, and it's not going to be like a super high score. It's going to be 0.5 out of 1, which is the most average part of this drink to me. So it's an average finish. It's pleasant enough.
Same score here, 0.5. I thought the finish was above average or right at average. So it gets that, which it was the best part, but it still had more to be desired.
Still average. Yeah.
Cohesiveness and complexity. I mean, it gets the full half point on cohesiveness, because it's corn all the way through. I don't know that it's super complex.
It's unique.
I can have a 0.75 here. I'll just give it a little bit of extra on that. So
I will give it a point. Don't you put in my score for me again?
It was an accident this time.
I'm going to go 0.5. And because that corn is all the way through, so it is cohesive, right? But there's also parts of it where it just doesn't meld together into like what a whiskey you would think should, like a quality whiskey should do. So I can't give it a full 0.5 on that side, but like there's a complexity level to it in that it's unique, which is where I'll give it half a point for complexity as well. So, or 0.25. So half to each one equals 0.5. That's my math. It makes perfect sense in my brain.
Glad it made sense to you. Okay. Out of 8 so far, you have it at a 3 out of 8. I have it at a 3.5 out of 8. Like you said, 15 to $20, 100 proof, not super difficult to find. What are your thoughts on a value here, Mr.? Let's go first to Mr. Sinone.
Well, thank you, Mr. TJ. So I'm at a 3, you're at a 3.5. So average value or average score, average bourbon would be like a 4. But the price is well below average. So in that sense, it kind of matches with the price. Like I feel like you're getting like a $15, $20 bottle of whiskey there. Like you could probably mix it. There's a few things there that are fine. It'd probably be good if you were already kind of drunk and you just want to keep, for effect. This is probably good for that. So out of 2 points, I will give it 1. It's an average value for the price, which is really, really cheap.
I'm giving it a 0.75. It's a below average drink. It gets a below average value for me.
Fair enough.
That's kind of the way that I feel like I have to do that. I just wouldn't feel great about giving it an average value when I give it a below average score. I think that's if I'd given it a 4 out of 8, I feel like I could maybe justify giving it a 1 or 1.25, but because I said it was below average,
it just so cheap though.
Doesn't it? It
does. Is so cheap.
I guess. Hold on.
I mean, I'm going back to old. I know you don't want to scroll too much through it. So with Willet, we didn't have the 0.25 yet for it. I don't think so. A little skewed. Old Tub You went into it with a 3.25. I went into it with a 3. Haha, it's same. And we all gave it for value 0.75, 0.75, 0.75. So you know what? You're being consistent, man.
I am. Yeah, I have a hard time giving something. Now, what I will say is that I guess at least I'm not advertising. I'm not recommending this. But yeah, if you're just trying to get drunk for cheap, I mean, it's not a bad pour.
You could do worse at sub $15. You could do worse. It is possible. So that's why
it's better than White Label Beam.
Yeah, it's better than Ancient Age. I mean, we talked about that before. Like that's only $10, but still, like this, you're getting proof. You're getting something unique. It does stick with a pretty narrow flavor profile, but it knows what it is. So it's fine.
Brendan gave Willet Pot Still a 4. We actually all gave Willet Pot Still a 4. I gave this a 4.25. Brendan gave this a 4. So he had this right on par with Willet Pot Still, which does have the best bottle ever.
I like this label better than Willet's bottle. This is a cool label.
Oh, I disagree with you there. I think I gave Willet a 1 just because of its value. It was actually worse. The juice was actually worse to me.
Jennifer, in the comments section, please let us know what's a better bottle, the Willet Pot Still bottle or the Mellow Corn with this pretty cool label and the yellow twist off. Retro.
She's talking about Smoke Wagon. Okay, so the Uncut Unfiltered, I bet she saw it over your shoulder. Jennifer, on one of our episodes, we keep a big board there. Smoke Wagon Small Batch is our highest rated bourbon we've ever done. And we've done what now? 30 or 40 of them, Brendan? I don't know.
Yeah, about that.
So we haven't done the Uncut Unfiltered on a review. We have done the small batch, which got an 8 out of 10, which is really, really good for us. We're tough critics. So anyway, glad that Uncut Unfiltered will definitely happen. So stay tuned for that. All right. So a 4 and a 4.25, not very good. What is good? I'm going on to something else. We'll keep you guys for like 5 more minutes.
I've thought about getting that for you at some point.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't.
I'm glad I didn't either. Go ahead, let the people listening know what you got.
If you're listening, wow, that cork pop was amazing. Did you hear that?
Good. Yeah, it sounded a little hollow to me, but
okay. It was better the first time. It's because I'm in a big open room with nothing in it. So, I have the Jefferson's Reserve, Jefferson Straight Rye Whiskey finished in cognac casks. I had this. Who was talking about the? I think it was Jennifer talking about the barrel dove. No, it was Jason talking about the barrel dovetail. I had this next to barrel dovetail at Whiskey Cake, and I liked the Jefferson Rye finishing cognac better than the barrel dovetail. And the reason why, because it was a rye. Well, I'm a poet, and I didn't know it. No, I think that the bourbon is sweet already. Finished makes it super sweet. Rye finished. To me, that's a little more balanced. I like that a lot. So loved that. Was a big fan of it. Got a bottle, won a rando on Facebook one day and got a bottle of it. So
nice. I'm glad I didn't get it for you. I figured that would be up your alley, though, because I know you like ryes. I know you like sweet stuff. The cognac, I figure, would make it pretty palatable. And speaking of cognac, man, coming up later this month, we are going to have a review of
Widow J Decadence.
No, Smokin' Joe. No, Blood Oath bourbon whiskey finished in cognac barrel. So be whiskey, bourbon, specifically finish in cognac, and again, Blood Oath as we continue our spooky themes.
That was so spooky.
Thank you. So you love that. You like it. It's a banger for you, huh?
Yeah, no, it's really good. I'm a big fan of it. Speaking of bangers, what do you have in your glass tonight?
So
some George T. Stagg?
Oh, we'll get into that in a second. No, that's a valuable commodity right now, friend.
I bet I could sell an open bottle for pretty much anything.
I got an open bottle of a bourbon on a budget blend that's in a George T. Stagg bottle. Maybe we could flip that and just tell people there's a little bit of George T. Stagg in there, which is potentially accurate. So I got Starlight Distilleries. I showed this to you guys. A couple. I'm gonna open it here. I love Starlight. They do good stuff. It's a craft distillery in Indiana, but this is finished in, it's called their cigar batch. It's finished in Brazilian Amburana barrels, which is basically
that's a lot.
Thank you.
How many is a Brazilian?
What? What kind of Brazilian?
Oh, I thought you said Brazilian. Sorry.
What?
That shit was finished in a bazillion barrels.
Oh my God.
Don't
I
talk
don't know if I
crazy.
like that. That might be the most that might be the most unique nose I've ever smelled on a whiskey. It's like cinnamon, super cinnamon heavy, and wood. It smells like a cigar store, like the woody, like all the wood boxes and whatnot, mixed with the smoke and the spice. Wow.
I wish you could share. This is so weird. I'm very sorry
Smell.
for what I'm about to say, but yeah, I wish you could share smell through like a computer or your phone
That'd
or whatever.
be valuable. Yeah. Wow.
Like, I'd like to know. I stop saying wow.
So
I'm very
I've
jealous.
never,
I'm jealous. I want to know
I
about
don't
it.
even know. I can't even tell you whether I like this, sir. I just know that it's
Mm.
super unique and
Oh
different.
my gosh, this is good.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the Jefferson does a really nice job with finishing. I'm sure that's
Have you had
delightful.
this?
No, I've seen it in stores. I haven't pulled the
It's
trigger.
it's a lot. It's a lot. What's it, like 60 to 70
60
bucks?
is something I want to try before I buy a
Right.
bottle.
I'll get you some. But yeah, it's really good. Oh,
Oh,
the nose is great because it's super sweet. I know we're going back and forth here. Our regular
yeah.
listeners that aren't watching are going to be like, "What in the world is going on?" We typically just all review one thing for those new to tuning in and watching, but the nose has so much spice. It's the Jefferson's rye. Then the cognac hits you. Okay, so the nose is good. It's above average. It get like a 1.25, 1.5
Ooh, we
easy.
can review it.
Easy.
Cognac is a French wine, but like it's a fortified wine. Is that right? Or fortified? Am I correct in
That
what
was
I'm?
fortified or not. But so it's close to like a liqueur,
Okay.
correct?
I've never had cognac before. So like I have a hard time picking it out. Like in the blood oath, I have a hard time picking out the cognac finish
Cognac's
in
a
it.
type of brandy.
Oh, I thought it was a wine. Is
Yeah.
brandy? Well, brandy's a type of. Hang on, Googling. You just keep giving us those.
It is.
Notes.
It's coming from distilling grapes
Okay.
in France.
I typed in
But
brandy in the
it's
form
twice
the
distilled.
the
So
R&B
it's
brandy.
40. So it's 40%.
Brandy is a liqueur produced by distilling wine. Contains 35 to 60% alcohol by volume.
Buddy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
good.
that's really nice with the rye. Yeah.
It is because it's very sweet. It's very desserty. But with the rye spice, it kind of chills it out a little bit. It's not super proofed up or anything. It's 94 proof, so Ben would hate it, right? Because it's not 130.
Some people hate on Jefferson's because they think it's a little gimmicky with like the Ocean Age
Which it is.
one. That's fine, but like they do distilling, or sorry, they do they do sourcing. They don't do distilling. They do sourcing. So like what you're trying there, I'm pretty sure is from Alberta Distillery in Canada.
I know where Alberta is. Thank you, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, but it's Canadian whiskey that you're probably technically that's the same stuff that's Whistle Pig. So you're basically having that's a finished same juice that's in Whistle Pig, pretty much finishing cognac instead of whatever stuff they were finishing their 12 and probably like half the price is what you're enjoying right now. But I'm saying that Jefferson's does a really nice job finding unique ways to market their whiskey, but then to change up the flavor profiles of with some of the finishing they do. They like a Cabernet finished wine or Cabernet wine barrel finished bourbon that's actually really, really delicious and fruity and berry. It's really good.
Yeah. So this is excellent. If you, I know it's expensive. People may want to try this before they buy it. I get that. See if you can go to a bar close to you that has it. I did at Whiskey Cake, and I was not let down. But if you are okay with the $60 to $70 price tag, I think this is well worth your while. Go check it out. Jefferson's rye finished in cognac. Thoughts on yours? Let's talk some George C. Stagg and let's get out of here.
All right. And then I got to tell you my pursuits and purchases because I have many pursuits right now that I just need to get off my chest lettuce. Yeah, so this is Starlight Distillery, which is in Indiana. I really like their single barrel offering that I've had before. They do all sorts of. I think they're doing stuff with. I don't want to spoil it. They're doing stuff with different whiskey groups where they finish, do all sorts of different finishing and experiments. So this is in the Brazilian Amburana, not a Brazilian. I thought you were making like a waxing joke initially, TJ, a few minutes ago when you were making me emphasize Brazilian. Anyways,
Let's wax that joke out of here.
It's too corny. It's basically like a Brazilian style rum that this is finished in. So it's getting some of those sweet notes that you'd expect from a rum, but like the double oaked of it, the woodiness is so intense. It's like almost kind of musty. I don't know, man. I don't know if I like it or not. It's super unique. The cinnamon spice and the barrel spice is just poured out of the glass. I haven't even tasted it yet. I'm almost afraid to. This is 4.5 years old, 112 proof. Let's see. Oh, it's so weird. It finishes like a rye initially with the level of spice to it, man. But then again, the different type of wood finishing there makes it super cedary and like it is. It's like they call it the cigar blend, and it is indeed like a cigar store. Is how it smells. It's got the mustiness, the smoke a little bit, but some of the sweet tobacco-y notes too. This is interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give it another try. I'll bring it down for you guys to give it a smell and a try too, because it's super unique. I'm not doing it justice. It's by far the most unique nose I probably have ever smelled from a bourbon before. Not even close, actually. It is. It's super unique and different.
Definitely excited to try it. I'll give you some of this Jefferson's as well. Okay, George C. Stagg was announced this week that it would not be released with part of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Said that it did not live up to their standards, which I actually appreciate. I read the book Pappy Land. I also read the book Bourbon Empire. I also have watched a couple of documentaries that had the Buffalo Trace featured in them, and all four of those, both documentaries and both books that I read, should or all talk about the tastings that they do, how Julian Van Winkle comes in and does the Pappy tastings, and how they are very particular with what goes out and what carries their name. Right. And so I think it's pretty cool that Buffalo Trace basically said, like, no, we know we could lose millions of dollars by not doing this. We're not releasing it because it's going to sell. It's George C. Stagg. They could literally just put Mellow Corn in it and it would sell. But I like that they did that. I have no problem with it. I think that if, bourbon is a art and a science. And so if at the end of 15 years or 18 years or 20 years or whatever, if they think that didn't live up to their standards and they didn't put it out, I'm okay with it. Thoughts around that?
So just a little more onto it. So New York Times article had talked to a couple of representatives from Buffalo Trace. One in the distilling process said that the distinct flavor as having notes of dark chocolate leather and dark cherries, which is typical for them, although that releases slightly from year to year, or the releases vary slightly from year to year. And it is super. That's what I love about George C. Stagg, and one of the first cast strength, high proof bourbons that I fell in love with and have paid handsomely for one of the two bottles that I have, because it is so remarkably complex, but you could pull the flavors out, like the level of proof that it has. Like you get that dark chocolate, you get the cherries, you get like strong vanilla and leather and tobacco, and it's all these great things about bourbon just amped up. So I love George C. Stagg. To Mr. Mayville here in New York Times Point, he said the 2006 whiskey, which is when they started barreling this particular one, he said it was, quote, too light and underdeveloped in character to represent the Stagg brand, which the 2-century-old distillery describes as extremely hearty. The company has yet to identify the root cause of the problem. A Buffalo Trace spokeswoman said that holding back on the Stagg release would cost the company millions of dollars in lost sales. So, on first blush, I'm disappointed, right? Because that means it's going to be extremely hard to find George T. Stagg. Obviously, none for 2021, but it's going to probably make it more difficult to find future ones and previous bottles as well for at least a little bit. But yeah, man, for a company that does such a great job with its quality, I credit them for being good with quality control and say, no, we're not just going to throw this out there. Like you said, it would sell, right? Like if you put anything in there, you could probably going to get away with it for more than 1 year. People would start turning on a little bit, but you could probably put out a pretty crappy version of George G. Stagg, or at least one that doesn't fall in line with its typical like amped up bourbon notes, and it would sell. But there are people who are skeptical out there, right?
Yeah, I read an article today where basically they said, we think that in 5 years, Buffalo Trace is just going to release like this super rare 25-year-old George C. Stagg, and it will have been this one. And they did it intentionally. So,
Look, Jason in the comments subscribes to that theory.
I don't know that they did it intentionally, but I do think that they're going to try and salvage. There's a difference, right? It's all about intent, right? And so I do think they're going to try and salvage this batch. And so I could see it coming out later, but I don't know that they necessarily sabotage this batch just to be able to do that later. I think if they end up, that would, so the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle, right? That would be my thought, is they probably didn't do it intentionally. They probably just want to try and save it if they can.
The idea that the spokeswoman said is that the holding this back would cost them millions of dollars in lost sales. Well, like, yeah, this year, but they're not throwing that whiskey away. Like, that's a cool thing about bourbon or any kind of whiskey is you keep aging it and it'll keep changing in flavor profile. And if it's really nasty, you can people will finish it in a different type of barrel or so. There's ways to salvage it. So like, it's not like that stuff's going to waste. So I do think it's a little disingenuous for them to say, oh, we're losing millions of dollars in lost sales. Like you're probably going to make that up at some point or another.
Correct. Losing it now, but probably not for the long term. Okay. I'm going to save my pursuits and purchases until Ben is back.
Okay.
So I'm not doing mine, but if you have something you're pursuing, let's talk about it, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay. Real quick, purchases. I will throw this. No, you know what? I'll wait on purchases until we get Ben back. How about that? I'll wait on purchases, but I will go over pursuits because there's like 4 or 5 different ones that have come out or are coming out, and just checking out like different websites, the Distiller app, other places like that. Like there's a lot of stuff I'm excited about. One of them is the Chocolate Malt Whisper as a finishing experimental series by Woodford Reserve. They do it in their gift shop. They'll do different types of finishes that you can only get at the gift shop. So it's 375 milliliter bottles, but this is finished with or used with chocolate malt, which sounds delicious, right up your alley, TJ. It's $50. I'm not going to Kentucky anytime soon, but maybe we can have friends that are up in the area that are, if they're nearby at some point, that'd be something I'd spend $50 on. Another, does that sound good? I know that's right up your alley with the sweetness.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of sweet, Joe Decadence is going to help hook a brother up with Midwinter Night's Dram Act 9.
Must be nice.
Sorry, buddy. It's bottled at 49.3 ABV. It'll be available October 1st. It's $99 MSRP. Availability limited to Highway's General Store in Old Town City, Park City in Utah. Spoiler, I think we're going to do a King of the Hill with finished, and I would like to say with finished whiskeys that my contender would be Midwinter Night Dram. I'll use the previous one, but if you guys second that, I think we should go ahead with that in the coming month or so, because I absolutely adore Midwinter Night Dram. Are you sad that you're going to have your own bottle of this year's edition? Check out the scrolling. Oh, hi, you, Joe Decadence. Yeah. I mean, I love Joe Decadence. We all know he's a sucker for finished whiskeys and bourbons.
I'll steal some of Ben's now that we're neighbors. So, what else are you pursuing?
Brooke Loddick has come out with Octomore 12. It is the most heavily peated Scotch out there. PPM.
Right, next.
Yeah, not up your alley. I had a chance to get the one of the 11s. About a year ago, and I like waited and hemmed and hawed at ABC. It was like $250. It's expensive Scotch, but one that's considered an absolute banger and amazing. And I finally went in one day and I was like, I'm going to get it. And they'd sold it like the day before after it being there for like a month. So what are you going to do? The Westland Gariana, which is a Gary Oak finished one. It's the same one I had a few months back, TJ, in Seattle, where's the weird smelly restaurant. I wasn't able to really get into this really super complex whiskey as much as I would like. My buddy's out in Seattle, and he's on the lookout for that for me. It's Westland's Distillery. They do a really good American malt. And this is just finished. It's higher proof. It's finished in a unique oak to Seattle. So that'd be great if I could come into that. And finally, last one here. Have you ever heard of the Wild Turkey Master's Keep series, TJ?
I have.
Do you have any idea what's coming out this year?
I don't.
Let me read this for you, sir. Through the years, Jimmy and Eddie Russell's distinct distilling perspectives have elevated the Wild Turkey brand. Master's Keep 1, which is what this one's called, Master Keep 1, like Rogue One, brings those two angles together.
Definitely.
The whiskey combines Jimmy's love of mid-aged bourbons, 8 to 10 years, and Eddie's admiration for more mature bourbons, in this case, a 14-year-old. So, you're probably thinking, right? 14-year-old and a 8 to 10-year-old blended. What's so special about that, right?
Well, let me tell you.
Well, the whiskeys are blended for a second maturation in new oak barrels. Notably, the barrels were specifically toasted and charred in one of Eddie's favorite timber rick houses, Tyrone G. Tyrone G's the name to it? Dude, it is a toasted barrel finish Wild Turkey. Is that not? Are you not? You don't seem as excited as I thought you would be.
I was just like thinking through it. I need you to give that to me.
It's $150. And if I find it, as long as I get a sample of it, I'll get it for you. Well, I'll procure it for you. You'll pay for
it. No, you said it. You would get it for me. So no, that sounds amazing. Elliot, hook a brother up. So yeah, that sounds so good.
I'm sure if Wild Turkey's doing it, dude, their 17-year-old bond one that I got last year, top 5 whiskey for me in my collection. It is exquisite.
Well, I'm excited for next week, so I can tell you guys about my pursuits and purchases. I'll have the bottle. I think Brendan knows what it is, but we'll talk about it then. But yeah, that sounds amazing. So, Elliot, hook a brother up, please, because I know you have the Wild Turkey connection. That'd be one where Elliot would probably love it, and I wouldn't give it to him, and he'd be like, "Dude, come on." So
check the comments. Jason's gonna maybe help you out.
Uh-oh.
Jason, Jennifer, let's go.
Jason,
well, they are part of the
part of our friend. If you would like a nice bourbon on a budget, my hands are all dirty from
Glencairn.
Laying tile or laying floor all day. I'll trade you like 1 billion of those Glencairns for that. So anyway, all right, come back on Tuesday. We'll do a real show. Ben will hopefully be back and not dead. Rest in peace if he does die between now and then. Do you have any shout outs or anything before we get out of here?
Nope. Appreciate the No family for participating with
and
us
Tad
and Tade. Much appreciated, Tade.
You're the worst. Go check us out on all social medias. Bourbon on a Budget everywhere. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Until next time.
Thank the tank.
Cheers. UNC.